All right. At the end of every painting and project, we always end up with a palette of leftover paint that don't get used. And this was one of my children's. And I hate wasting paint. So I have come up with a great solution for you guys that also do not like to waste paint. We're going to put backgrounds down on various journals. And what I usually do for my art journals is I'll get like 4 or 5 of them out, depending on how much paint is left over. And I will just put several backgrounds down that we can go back and we can add stuff to. So I just finished a project that I used a black wash with. Now, generally, I don't like dark paintings, but since this is going to just be a background that I'm going to add layers to, I'm going to be okay with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some stuff down on one side. Now, this is a mixed media sketchbook, so I'm not too worried unless I saturate the pages too much. It takes the paint fairly well. It will start to curl, and that is usually when I go in and grab some different clips. In my other life, I do way too much paperwork, so I have tons of these laying around. So what I'll do is I'll just take the corners and I'll just tack them in place real quick, and that helps keep the pages down a little bit more. Gives me a little bit more flexibility with it. I'll do that with this side. This. Okay, so that's a great thing about backgrounds for journals. They do not need to be pretty, because what a message that you put on there is going to be the focal point, whatever that may be later on. Now I'm going to lighten this up a little bit by doing something fun. Okay. This is just a pink mist. And I have a whole bunch of these dabbers that hadn't been used in years, but there's still paint in them. So I can, pour the paint out as I need them. But the tips have these really cool texture to them. So I am very hesitant to throw anything out. So I had this leftover metallic bronze. So I'm just going to take the paint dabber tip and I'm just going to our leftover paint and just randomly throw some lines down. Now on the other side, I'm going to show you that cool ideas to do. Flip this over, let that side dry a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in with some oil pastels. And I'm just going to create some new lines. Sometimes I make both of the pages match each other so that it flows. Sometimes, each page needs to be its own separate art. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with some of this leftover wash. I'm just going to see how it interacts with those oil pastels. Now, because this is just going to be a background that we're going to add something to later, I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I like to layer, add different elements. Like I said, I usually stay away from dark black, but this was left over from a project. Okay, now we can start adding a little bit more to this. Bring the two pieces together. We had that gold over here. Let's go ahead and bring it into the next one. Okay. Different, but still slightly cohesive. Take one that's ready to dry and put it off to the side. Now that was just a regular mixed media art book. I have several of them. They come in multiple sizes, but my favorite is the Canson mixed media. My kids all have a couple as well. They're nice for traveling with. Now, I'm also a big advocate of recycling, and I love books. So I have found this really cool old book that the size and the shape spoke to me. If I remember correctly, most of it's been crossed out enough. This was The Life of Beethoven. So we had some really nice art in it, but we just had some really big pages to work with. And I had sketched some studies I was doing on hands at the time. And this was a project where you looked at your hand, but you were not allowed to look at your paper. And you drew using one continuous line. So I have several of these in here, but I want it to pop out a little bit more. So what I am going to do is I still have a whole bunch of this black wash. I'm just going to go in behind the background area and just kind of make it pop. Since it's a wash, you can still see it has a translucent quality to it. So I can still see words and images that are underneath. This paper was not gessoed first, so you will see some buckling on it, but that's okay. Okay, I want to be able to keep seeing the image of the building, so I'm going to get my paintbrush a little bit wetter so that the wash over on this side is a lot thinner. I don't want to lose all the cool details of it. I just kind of want it to blend together a little bit more. Color it out. Okay. Now, I still have that metallic bronze I need to do something with. Go in. Okay. Now on this side of the page, still have way too much wash left over, but I have this really cool painting. So I decided to make it somehow interact with the painting. I went ahead and grabbed some pieces of cardboard that my kids had laying around from one of their projects, ripped off the top part, and went ahead and glued it on. Has a nice organic edge to it. I'm going to make this look like it is a cloud. So I'm going to incorporate them together. Nice wet wash. If you are going to be using used books as your art journals, you probably are going to want to invest in gesso at some point. Gesso will help prevent your pages from buckling too much. Gives it a nice tooth for the paint to adhere to. And if you use clear gesso, you can paint on it, but still keep, if you're using watercolor at least, still keep the image underneath viewable. Okay. I'm going to use my dark stormy cloud here. One thing you need to remember if you're going to be doing some art journals, loosen up. It's not supposed to be like this great, amazing work of art. It's just, you're supposed to have fun with it. Try not to get so try not to get too lost in the details. Try not to get lost in the rules of art. Just enjoy yourself. Have some fun with it. Okay. I'm going to darken the edges a little bit more. Go from darker down to a little bit lighter gradient. blend the painting in. Okay, we have now created a stormy day. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and keeping it loose, no pressure, no worries. Just throw some paint down. Like I said, art journals are for breaking all of the rules and just having fun. Don't think about it, just do it. Yeah. And dark stormy cloud. Oh wow, look, I still have some paint. Voila, we be done. I still have more black wash, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because I don't feel nearly as bad as if I had not done any of this and just thrown it away. So, all's good. All right, we'll do some more different journaling and stuff at some other point. Thank you.